alive. I'm
You're alive.
alive. Still alive.
Yeah, of course. Discord panel room. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up for me. You know what? I think it's just because of Discord. Let me get rid of the video capture device here and then try it over here.
Discord, I'm howling at the moon.
No.
And sleeping in the middle of a room.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna turn it off here, and people, if they want to see me, they can go on YouTube and look at my face.
I can't feel my face when I'm
We
here.
actually have way more people not on Discord, which is hilarious to me. So like people are just gonna kind of be watching a chat that
So,
people are just going to be kind of watching a chat with like two people in it, and we've got like 70 people in YouTube.
yeah. Oh, let
We
me
can't
do
join in
my
Discord. Why? What the fuck? Oh, that would probably be good to make sure that you could do that.
mute.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks. You can now you can now join.
You're kidding
I'm
me.
not.
You gotta be kidding me.
I forgot to set it so they can connect.
You gotta be squidding me.
Okay. Yay. Oh, now we got people in the audience. I was like, why do we only have like two people? It's because they couldn't physically connect. And people have permission to
I
send
can see your
messages.
entire Discord. Now I can
Yay,
see your
I'm
social security
fucking
while I'm at
great.
it. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry
For a
about
minute,
it.
I got
Don't worry
scared, and
about
I
it.
was like, "Wait." I thought I got scared from. I was like, "Wait, have we had it where the public invitations to the entire Discord?"
No.
Like, I
No.
think we've had that open for years without touching it. Also, hi guys, I'm here.
Yeah. You get the secret back. Yeah, Crow's here with me.
Yeah, we didn't update the website for that, but hey, I'm here. Last minute.
I'm
90
I'm
people.
regretting not putting a slow mode in this. Give me a
Oh, there's some.
second.
Yeah, okay, yeah. There's suddenly people in the
Let
Discord group.
me do
That's
fix that.
scary.
Look, you get to see moderation action. Amazing moderation action. Hi everyone.
Mm.
It's me, Jonaya. I'm here on camera. If you're watching this on YouTube, it doesn't like when I try to put it on the stage as well. So, um, yeah. And Crow's here with me.
Yeah, I'm Crow.
That's Crow. Crow's not on camera at all in any form, because Crow doesn't
Yeah,
actually have a physical body.
I'm too busy laying on my couch and contemplating.
Yeah. Also, you don't have a physical body.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
I never did.
you're more of like an Okay, my volume, Crow, your volume is a little loud. I'm gonna turn you down a little bit.
Yeehaw.
Okay, I think Crow should be better balanced with me now. Thank you.
Perfectly balanced, I
Yes, as
hope.
all things should be.
Yeah. Actually, I should have taken over the entire panel and just immediately blown out everyone's ear.
Yeah, okay.
Do you think I've been away long enough to where people don't know who I am?
Janaya is super quiet. Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna turn this. I'm gonna fix my audio. Give me a
Go
second.
for it.
I wish I could turn you down on the YouTube stream
Why?
so I don't hear the weird delay.
Oh, just mute it. Oh, you can't hear Crow.
Then I can't hear Crow.
All right, now we're back. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna move the mic closer to my face, and yeah. It's a oh okay, that's probably better. Crow, say some words.
Um, that's a word. Well, as were
Excellent.
those.
I think we're balanced out better.
Yeah, I had mentioned
Yeah,
prior that I wonder if I've been away for so long that people don't actually know who I am,
yeah.
or at least some people.
It occurs to me that this is a podcast, Mike, so I do need to actually be up on it and talk into it like this. It's not a regular. Yeah. I'm an idiot. I usually use this for like recording, and I'm up on it like this. But yeah, people say it's better. Okay, I'm gonna pull up our outline, and we could start talking about stuff.
The
Um,
outline that I definitely looked at.
you should probably look at it at some point. I'll kind of guide us. I can guide us as we go.
Flag.
So like, yeah, why don't we introduce ourselves? Crow, you go first. You founded this con originally. Tell us about yourself.
Um, Hello, every pony. My name is Crow.
Good start.
Um, I am the creator of SAHCon. Fun fact. I haven't been around for a bit because I got lost in the void, but
Yes.
this convention, God, how long has it existed? Since
It's been
20,
6 years. It's coming up on
yeah,
7 years.
6 years.
So
Base, God,
yeah,
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 over half a decade. Um, but yeah, no, I'm Crow. I go by Yo, it's Crow.
yeah,
Who knows if that handle will exist for too long? I might tweak some stuff. But I've definitely done a lot of Homestuck stuff around SawCon, for example. Like I've hosted a good couple of zines, such as the one of the old like Dancester zines, like I think it's called Before Us.
yes,
And I did the Problematic Fave zine. I've ran some of the Homestuck little zine jams
yeah,
where we post stuff on itch.io. And then I've also hosted a couple of Homestuck reanimated projects, such as the Make Her Pay reanimated project, the Game Over reanimated, a couple of the little April Fool's ones.
yeah.
And we will be still working on and eventually posting the Cascade reanimated, which, things happen, but that'll eventually be happening soon. But yeah, I've done a lot of Homestuck projects. I've been doing Homestuck projects since 2018.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I created SockCon as well, which it's a tiny little thing. You might have heard of it.
Yeah, I'm Jonaya. I'm the other key director for the con. I started doing Homestuck stuff in 2019, and I started doing SawCon stuff in 2020. Kara asked me to come on as the second director in late 2020 at some point, and I've been doing that ever since. I do a lot of the back end organization, managing panelists and applications and keeping everything running behind the scenes. So yeah, I've been doing SawCon for 5 years now. A little over 5 years actually. I've done a ton of stuff in the Homesick fandom. I probably best known for this and directing Friendsim 2. I've written a lot of fanfic. Done a lot of different projects. Been in a lot of zines. I'm not doing Homestuck stuff anymore. I've stepped back from pretty much everything. For a lot of reasons, but mostly I'm just moving on to other things. So, but I wanted to give us an opportunity to kind of like see SawCon out in terms of like what we learned over the years and like just a little bit of history about it. I love that people are doing
Yeah,
6-7 jokes in our chat now. Like it feels like the memes have shifted over the years.
I haven't even caught up. Yeah, when I haven't been doing Homestuck stuff, I've gotten a lot into the indie animation scene in terms of like well, first of all, I've also been trying to do school stuff, even though I've like kind of
Yeah,
been with that for the last year.
yeah,
But I predominantly have been like just sniffing around and like indie animation stuff. I kind of got into the Demon Hell show. You know which one I'm talking about. So it's
yeah.
like I've definitely been elsewhere.
I've been doing a an actual play podcast called Moment of Balance, which is an avatar. My wife, who's in the room with me, who's our DM, is grinning at me when I say this. Is a an Avatar Legends TTRPG actual play. It's very cool, and you should check it out. And I don't know, I'll probably
Describe the lesbians.
it has lesbians in it. I play one of them. It's really
I
gay,
love
and
lesbians.
there's a lot going on. It's very it is a very good actual play. If you like actual plays, definitely check it out. It's at Moment of Balance on Blue Sky. You'll find it easily enough. Um, yeah, I think we should talk about actual SawCon. Probably would be good. I'm gonna.
Very, very, very soon, aka in a couple minutes. I'm also gonna take a sip of. Is this lukewarm soda? Oh well.
Okay, I'm drinking water.
I didn't like that. I'm
because
gonna
I'm
go for it again.
healthy, because I'm healthy.
Eh.
Don't
Yeah,
don't worry
lukewarm
about all the
Pepsi.
smoking jokes we made in chat earlier today.
I
Don't
love smoking.
I don't love smoking. I've never actually smoked
I
a
have
cigarette in
my
my life.
sativa across the
I
room.
have smoked weed, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Would
Um,
you take smoking over this diet lukewarm Pepsi that I just sipped from like three
smoking
times?
weed or a cigarette?
Yes, weed.
That's a loaded question. You can't ask. Yeah, over weed, no. Over cigarette, yes. I would rather sip the lukewarm Pepsi.
Yeah. Also, I guess I should say after SawCon's over, I mean, I just said what I've been kind of focused on for the last basically this year, but it's like after SawCon is over, I don't necessarily know what I'm immediately going to be doing.
Yeah,
I might as well say that instead of saving it for anything toward the tail end of the convention while we're here and
that's
there's like
fair.
more people awake. Because like after the convention is done, it's like, all right, what am I doing?
Yeah,
Maybe I might change my social media handles. Who knows? I know that there are some projects that I still, of course, need to get out of the way. But also after that's done, when it comes to like non-Homestuck related projects, I'm probably at least going to be doing some stuff with that. Like I know I
yeah,
got my YouTube, I got indie animation stuff, both like existing fandoms and also some
yeah,
original stuff that I would like to do. And if I ever did something that's like a group, or not group, but like kind of community event similar to SawCon in the future, that'll have to definitely be something that Future Crow thinks about.
yeah.
But for the meantime,
That's a
if
future
anything,
crow problem.
yeah, that's a Future Crow thing. For the meantime, though, outside of like the one or two Homestuck projects that I still have left, if I do one in the future, we'll see. But for right now, I've just been chilling, just doing stuff that isn't just,
Yeah,
fixating on this webcomic for the next, like, even before
exactly.
I started doing projects, I joined in like 2015. So I basically been in the Homestuck fandom for a decade.
Yeah. So, now that we've kind of run out the majority of the rewatch of Cascade's runtime,
Yes.
and people can start filtering in from that. Um, yeah, so I kind of want to talk about like what this is as a panel and like what we're going to be talking about. I wasn't sure if Crow was going to be here originally, because Crow's been real busy with stuff.
Snuck
So I'm gonna kind of like steer this because I planned it out, and Crow's here to now add his commentary because he's obviously been
peanut
involved in this
gallery.
too. More than that, I think. Um, I wanted to do a panel that kind of went over the history of SAHCon and also like some of the things we've learned from SAHCon, both in terms of like our experiences running it and like some of our like things we've learned about like moderation and stuff. Because like I don't know, personally, I would like to see, even though I'm not involved in the fandom and SAHCon is shutting down, I would like to see people continue to make cool things like SAHCon. I know that Prom Stuck has been talking about potentially doing like virtual stuff, and Prom Stuck, the physical event, was very cool to be at. So yeah, I think there's some stuff that we can kind of help people learn to do that we sort of learned the hard way. Also, people might just find the history of SOCON somewhat interesting. I know some people they haven't been here for the whole time, or they haven't been here for more than this year. So yeah, um, I guess like, and this is a thing I think Crow can kind of speak to. Starting out, but like Crow, hey, what was the like? Why did you make SOCON in the first place? Because I wasn't here for the first SOCON. Like, what was the reasoning behind starting SOCON even?
That's a great question,
I
Janaya.
know.
Um, so I think I made SawCon for a couple of reasons. I think one of the more back then reasons, like, actually, you know what? Here's how it started. I got inspired by the Brony fandom. Loaded statement, but like, basically, there is a older online Brony convention called Horses at Home Con, which is no longer running. We actually, like, ironically, have lasted a little. Well, a little. We've lasted longer than them, but like it was, from what I saw, a nice setup, and we took a lot of influence. Because I was just looking on my YouTube one day, and I saw them have this trailer for this online horse convention, and I was just like, That's interesting. How does that work? And then I just looked through the website. I saw it was basically more or less streams that are supposed to replicate panels and a Discord room that's supposed to replicate the physical lobby of a con.
Yeah.
And then so some of the stuff that we eventually added, like the artist alley and the VR chat, that was a bunch of extra stuff that was more us versus what they were
Yeah.
doing. Uh, but I did see that in my YouTube one day, and I was like, "This is an interesting idea." And I was like in a call with someone else at like 6 in the morning, and I was like, huh, imagine if someone did like this for like Homestuck. And then unfortunately, um, my
Yeah.
ideas for jokes often do not remain jokes. And so I did that. Well, that's the origins of how I kind of like premised it in the first place, which is basically you can thank the bronies for the Homestuck convention existing in a
Yeah.
way. But I had also during the time wanted like I saw that Homestuck had like fan art and like different fan fiction, etc. But one of the ways that I had actually gotten into Homestuck in the first place was through the YouTube input that people like posted, because you would have people who doing like fan dubs. You would have people occasionally posting their music. During the time there used to be a little bit more of like fan animations and stuff. And I thought to myself, man, I really miss when Homestuck did used to have more YouTube like content that was like placed out there as well.
Mm.
So like like me seeing this Brony convention basically posting streams of like either like like live streamed things that they're doing, or people posting like skits, or posting some kind of like show, like fan like little parody things, or like animation. It just made me think like, oh, this is a way in which it would be nice to see people creating Homestuck stuff that can be appreciated with one another, and also just has this media of Homestuck fan art and
Yeah.
such that I felt was very much a influence for attracting people to the first place, or in the first place.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one more other reason too. I guess like the general reason like SAHCon continued is that I like the way that it went from beyond that to people just creating things within the community to like have fun with each other, and to also support
Yeah.
small time artists, because you see the artist alley. Technically, when people do things like the showcase and the panels, that's basically having these smaller ideas or different things that people want to show to other artists to be put out there and supported by other artists. And so I don't know. It was just something I wanted to continue after the first year, and then the next, and then the next, and now we're here.
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of like piggyback on top of that because I did want to kind of go through like our sort of like history as a process. So I wasn't here for the first SawCon. I got involved in the Homesick fandom a little bit too late for it. Um, and then I got really involved starting in like 2020, and I saw this stuff about SawCon, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I have an idea for a panel. So I put together a proposal for I did a panel on writing asexual characters since I'm aspec, and yeah, I got accepted as a panelist, and I got into the server, and I don't remember precisely like the order of things, but at some point I guess it became clear to Crow that I was like capable of doing like organizational stuff. Because at some point Crow was like, "Hey, do you want to be staff for the con?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Um, and back then, like everyone that was staff was given like pretty expansive privileges to just kind of help administer stuff. Um, the Discord wasn't as granularly organized as it is now, and like I don't know, I tried to help out, and I guess at some point Crow decided that I was good enough at that to ask me to be the other director. It feels distant now, so I don't remember exactly what the reasoning was, but like yeah, I kind of picked up as the as the second director, and do Crow kind of does a lot of the like high end stuff and like conceptual things and like reaching out to people that he knows, and then I do a lot of the you know setting up organizational stuff and server management and a lot of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
panelist
granted,
stuff.
since I haven't been here a lot this year, yeah,
Uh,
I would say
okay.
that you've picked up the majority of this
This
year.
year I've done everything, but that's not
Yeah,
typically how it worked in the past. Like, oh, that's not fair. I haven't done everything. We'll talk about that later because there's other people involved in this,
I was just on
obviously.
a full body cast this year.
Yeah, Crow's
You remember that
indisposed.
one year where we joked about me being like on life support because I was so tired? This time I'm full
Yes,
body
I
cast.
do remember that. Yeah, so like in starting going into like 2021, that was when I started becoming really involved in this whole thing and doing like things like the Friday showcase, which I don't remember. I think it was a sort of a collective idea. Like we were brainstorming stuff, and one of us came up with the idea of like a Nintendo Direct, and the other one was like, "That's a great idea." And so I started doing that, where I would put out the applications and screen the videos, and then put everything together to do the showcases. And we were doing like the showcase during the SAHCon Friday thing, and then we would do like a winter showcase. So we would have a couple opportunities for people to like promote their stuff because it's good to get eyes on fan projects. Like I know how hard it can be when you're running something small to like actually get attention and like get people to engage with it. And so like that was a really good opportunity for people to do that. Like we've always had a very like open policy with the showcase. Like basically everybody is welcome as long as you can show that you actually like exist as a person. Like we've gotten a couple people where they just give us like no information at all about any of the stuff they have. Um, but like other than that, it's an opportunity for people to like basically be alongside each other and like be a part of the community. So
Yep.
um, but yeah, we kind of like I got more involved, and then SOCON started to get bigger. Hold on a second, let me check my outline here because
Hmm.
we kind of got more into like we got into contact with like official people at some point. I think Crow, you were the first one that got reached out to by like someone who worked for what Pumpkin, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, because we did that.
I think that was ironically during the year. That was ironically that was ironically during the year where because I was starting to get to a midway point of fatigue, I was like, hmm. That was during the year when we were kind of forebodingly looming to each other. Hmm, maybe next year will be
Yeah.
the last.
We've said that we've said that the next year will be the last SOCON for like 3 years, I think now.
Yes,
it took a while
we
to get
definitely
to
have.
actually being
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
I was feeling so that year about things that like I
Yeah.
authentically was going to just go to work during
Yeah.
SawCon, which I am going to be doing later today, but I digress. And like when I got the updates regarding that, I called my boss and I was like, "Yeah, I had a stomach bug. I can't come in
Yeah.
today."
So yeah, so we got someone from What Pumpkin reached out to us, and we did that panel where it was like the Act 3 preview stuff. Which was that was like our first sort of contact with anyone official. Um and then like after that we started getting more like at some point we got reached out to by I think it was James that reached out to us about potentially licensing SawCon. And then separately from that, I got approached about joining the Act 3 team as a producer. Um, so like yeah, Cro and I decided that we would go ahead and like do the licensing basically as like a hey, this will maybe let us like potentially do some stuff with like I don't know, merchandise or something in the future, just to have to kind of have that like relationship with the official people. Um, and then I was as the Act 3 producer, I was or an Act 3 producer, I was able to like do some stuff potentially with like panels related to that. Um, so yeah, that's why we had like the what was it 2023? We did like a what the heck did we when did we do that panel? I can't remember. No, 2024 we did the Act 3 panel last year. Um, so we had licensing as of like December of 2023, I think it was. I don't know, Crow, if you remember specifically.
My brain is a mush.
Excellent. That's I don't remember. I don't remember specifically, but like yeah, we had that going on. I I don't know. I want to share my thoughts on that a little bit cuz like I know that there's been some stuff with like the FRAF thing with licensing and all that happening, and I don't know. It was really exciting to us to like potentially have that connection to the official people. Personally, I don't necessarily think it was a good decision in the end. Um, not to be, I'm not trying. This is not a drama like, oh, we're gonna start shit kind of thing. But just generally, I think that one of the important things to me about SAHCon's identity was that it was really like a fan thing, and I think that that kind of like a little bit undermined that for us. Not that they came in and like suddenly took over or anything like that, but I don't know. I think that I think having it as a fan identity, and like this year, again, for since the beginning, we've kind of gone back to like we don't have any official panels set up today. It's all fan stuff, and it's a lot chiller, and I kind of like it better, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I like that the official people maybe should, like, I don't know, that they will focus on like promoting stuff on the official channels, and that the fan thing could be like a kind of co-equal. I don't know, Crow, if you have thoughts about that, but that's kind of my view on it. I think they killed Crow. I shouldn't have said that. They've taken Crow out.
Rip to Crow.
Crow's mic is messed up, I think, actually. Crow,
Hey,
did you
this was
did you
this
survive
was
the
the
assassination attempt?
no. This was like the perfect time. I'm on my phone right now and I'm resetting my computer because this was the best time out of any time that my computer decided, you know what? I don't like that you have 1,000 tabs open. I'm gonna kill myself.
Excellent. Anyway, I don't know if you heard everything I
God.
was saying, but I was kind of like,
Not in the
it.
last 30 seconds, no.
I was just saying my opinion. I kind of like having SAHCon be a not official thing that's like not
Yeah.
necessarily seen as worse than like official stuff, but is just not tied to like official accounts. Um,
Yes.
I don't know. Your thoughts on that?
Um, I like it. I like the fact that the fans. I like that. I like that the fan thing gets to remain kind of its own thing. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I don't know, I always felt like there was like a weird pressure where because of the fact that things got like officialized, that people were like, well, now that it's officialized, you need to update your wooden tables to mahogany and you need to start having it where you only allow these particular kinds of qualities to be a part of this fan con. And it's like, no, I don't. I mean, then I'm just saying this is like a general expectation of like how people as a whole, like communities and da da da, like portray like the concept of something becoming more quote unquote serious just because
Yeah.
it's like tied. It's like the concept of, because of the fact that SawCon was made official, that means that we would have to start sacrificing the way that we would be having
Yeah.
it be a inclusive avenue for artists and people who have ideas
Yeah.
to talk to each other and showcase. Like I'm not I didn't want people to have this idea that we should start gentrifying the
Yeah.
Homestuck convention.
Also, like, and I think I'll talk about this a little bit later when we start talking about like a kind of post-mortem of what we've done, but like I think that there is like, regardless of what the relationship is to a license holder, like it does kind of imply certain things about how you're expected to sort of like conduct yourself, and also like what they could potentially ask from you, that don't necessarily like always mesh super well with like our general policy for how we engage with the fandom, which has always been very like sort of big tent, as long as you're not like a horrible like the worst person ever. Like we don't try to get involved in like the very specific fandom drama, and we've had people panel who are like from all different element aspects of the fandom, and even a couple panelists who have been seen as controversial in certain circles, and like I don't know, I like to be inclusive, personally, and if somebody's, I don't know, there's a lot to say about it, but maybe we'll get into it
Yeah.
a little
Also,
bit
I'm
later.
switching over to my actual computer again
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna check my outline again because I think I
There we
want.
go. I was never gone. I never got swallowed up.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about, like, I guess, well, we can talk about it later. I wanted to talk about, like, kind of the things that we've done. Some of the stuff, like, other than just SAHCon as a general concept. Because, like, we've done a few things that are very much like sort of emblematic of SAHCon, and I wanted to sort of like go through them and talk about them a little bit with you, Crow. So first, I wanted to talk about the showcase. I guess we already kind of talked about that a little bit, but just like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that, Crow?
Oh my God, just showcase.
Yeah,
So I like the showcase.
just in general, not the specific one from this year.
Yeah, the showcase. When we were talking about the origins of it, I'm pretty sure the origins of the showcase literally just came from me looking at like either the Nintendo Directs or just
Yeah,
looking at some of the general other because during like SawCon predates 2020, but during 2020 when we
yep,
had a little bit of a oopsie, a lot
hmm,
of events and stuff that wanted to be public in meet spaces but couldn't,
yeah,
decided to make like virtual things, and that includes
yeah,
conventions. And so you did have your fair share of events that would have like directs or whatever being created, and that also included things like, I don't know, indie games that had, or
yeah,
indie cons that had like indie games being made that people would do like directs for. So I saw like inspo from that, and I was like, okay, what if we did like a Homestuck what if we did like a Homestuck showcase where people who
yeah,
have like actually, you know what? I know also why this was a thing. It was because of the fact that we had a lot of people that wanted to showcase their
yeah.
fan
It was the
projects for
project
panels.
panels, right? Because we had like people were increasingly doing like, I want to do a panel on like my fan adventure, which is like, that's good energy, but like what we're looking for in panels is more about like general general topics, not necessarily like a specific fan adventure.
I would say it's probably less general. Well, general, yes, because like
General to
I would say more
Homestuck
so
fandom.
panels were going to try and strive for something where if it didn't just engage interest with the
Yeah.
audience, it could be some kind of indirect back and forth between the panelists and the audience with engagement. And depending on how far someone is in their project, or whether or not they think a panel would be worth like maybe
Yeah.
an hour 30 of content. It would really depend, and it was always a bit of a risk, especially because that means that we would have to know that we
Yeah.
couldn't accept every single person. And so I
Yeah.
was like, well, you know what? A showcase would also be good for the fact that we could get way, way more people because
Yeah.
comparatively, when you have something like a showcase that has like 30 projects in it, for example, that's basically an entire slot of like a day of a con. And
Yeah.
we only have a day of a con. And we
Right.
also have people who aren't showcasing projects who want to do other things like games and conversation topics and roundtable things. And so it's like, and like tutorials. So I don't know, the concept of the showcase, to keep it like TLDR, it came because I got influenced by other events that had like directs basically, and it also came from the fact that I wanted to try and have fan projects be showcase, but have it where we have more of a concise way for people to get their stuff out there, and
Yeah.
that way we could have more people than just like a few selected.
Right. And like also like it's sort of a thing where like you don't want to have a panel that's just like, it's a panel about my fan adventure. So like you get a thing where it's like, if it's a popular fan adventure, you get a lot of people that are interested. If it's less well known, you might have people like not show up. Whereas like um if you um if you have something where it's like, oh, maybe you use that as an example in your panel, but your panel still has a larger context that's going to draw people in. It's like, one, I don't want people to feel like shit if their panel isn't attended because it's an obscure fan venture, and two, like I don't want it to just be focusing on like the nuances of like a specific like sub fandom, as opposed to like a panel that has like something to say. Um, so like this is kind of the balance of like, we let people promote their stuff, and make trailers and everything, and that gets eyes on their project. But also, like, panels are more about like something more substantial than just like, look at my cool thing I made, which is really fun to talk about. I do that with my stuff all the time, but also like it's not you can't hear Crow right now because Crow isn't talking, but
Yeah.
if you have a problem with Crow's audio specifically, I'm not sure why. It seems like most people are okay. um
Yeah, I did die for like half a
Crow
second
did
and then I came
die,
back.
yeah, and lived again.
Yeah, that's what all the smoking did.
Yeah, exactly, that's what smoking does. It makes you come back to life. um so yeah,
Yeah, that's how it.
the showcase was like that. That's something, and then I kind of took the reins as far as like actually making the showcase like physically happen. We've kind of gotten used to doing that over time. I have like templates for things to try to make it as easy as possible because it's a lot of work. um
Everyone in chat, raise your hand if you were here for the time we had the showcase bumpers.
oh, that was so much fun. That was so much extra work too.
Yeah, I did like three of them.
You
I did
did.
like the little anime parody with like Data and Pahal with the box. I did like the
Yeah,
little Fefri
that was.
paper thing where I splashed her with water, and she
Yes.
survived, by the way. She dried and she's in my bathroom. And then I did like the airplane
I
footage.
I I
Like,
really
yeah,
like the fact that you did that like anime bumper, like the before and after commercials, and then by pure
yeah.
coincidence, whatever, Hoaxes Bound did a fake commercial for their ad or for their trailer. So it was like
Yeah.
perfect. Like I just slapped those two on either end of it, and it looked like we went to commercial break, and it was like, god damn, that looked like we did it on purpose, and it was a complete
Yeah,
coincidence.
I would have loved to do more bumper little thingies for future showcases, but the problem again is just the fact that
It's tons of work.
unless I did all of them myself, I would have to talk to people, and
It's
unfortunately, I was too busy doing full-time classes while working like
Yeah,
40 hours a week.
it's just a lot of work. Hold on here. The next thing I wanted to sort of talk about is another thing we've done. We didn't do this year, but we've done, I think, every other year or most other years, is the albums. Um, which is not something I'm really super involved in. That's always been mostly Crow kind of like doing the idea portion, and then JoJo Funk McLovin, who does the actual like organization of the people writing music for that. But Crow, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the albums because that's something you've been more involved in than I have.
This is really funny because this year, as you all could probably tell, we did not have an album this year.
We did not.
Um, Again, this is a lot of stuff contributed to the fact that Little Crow here kind of like exploded and got
Yeah.
really tired and I burnt out real bad. But
Yeah.
like we didn't have an album this year, unfortunately. However, I mean, you know what? It kind of works in a way. We kind of symmetrically balanced it because we didn't have a album for the first year of
That's
SAHCon either
true.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the first SawCon was definitely the baby steps of getting the groundwork because the concept of a virtual convention was still extremely rare on the general internet sphere.
Yeah.
Because again, we were in 2019 and I could only think of maybe two or three other virtual conventions that existed. And even then they were kind of still different from what we were doing. So it's
Yeah.
like we were doing the baby steps. But yeah, doing this because again, we got a VR chat, we got the showcase, we got the artist alley, we got the panels, and then a Homestuck music album, which we basically did up until now yearly. It's like, yeah, no, the album itself was really good, and unfortunately, especially since I don't exactly have a list on me, I can't name out every single individual musician that has helped us out. But obviously, we have our Bandcamp that's
Yes.
still open, and we have like
Yeah.
the player, I believe, on the website for if people want to check out
Yes, we do.
the yeah, if people want to check out the musician names and the
Yeah.
titles, and of course we have like the we have like the YouTube for the SawCon YouTube that has it when we've streamed the albums
Yeah.
and have like the people stuff. Basically, there are different ways for you to find out the artists, and I appreciate the fact that those artists were able to contribute what they
Yeah.
did because I'm not really a music savvy person, but it's been a learning experience, and I use my director skills to also kind of help lead us in a particular direction of how we would want to do like what kind of prompt or premise to do the album after, doing like seeing the order of how we wanted to present those tracks, trying to see who wanted to do what and how that would like kind of bounce off of like their neighboring musicians. And even though I'm more of a, like I said, more visual artist person, I have contributed a couple of tracks to some of the albums myself, which means that, this has also been very influential for me to kind of dip my toes into like more stuff. Because also eventually when I, kind of start trying to do other non-Homestuck stuff, I do want to try and do more music related
Yeah.
things for other
Wait,
fandoms, which
did
I'll
you
keep on the side burner for now.
hold on, Crow? Did Gorgorlicious end up on one of the albums?
No,
Hmm?
Gorgorlicious did not end up on one of the albums.
Oh, okay. Someone mentioned the Tagora parody of Carcolicious that I did in
No,
the
that
chat.
was just
Right.
on the
Anything can
cabaret.
slip
Oh, on the
behind beneath my
cabaret.
eyes.
That's right. I had
I
fun
should have just
doing
taken
that.
your
It was
entire
ridiculous.
Oh, that's alright,
should have
sweetie.
just taken the entire friend sim to OST and be like, oh yeah, this was always
This
gonna
was
be
a Saw. This was
2025.
a SAHCon album.
Oh
Anna,
my
can you
god.
drop the link to the cabaret with the timestamp to the Tagora thing? Someone
Yeah,
asked
in
about it
2
in
seconds,
the
I will.
chat. My wife will do that momentarily. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before we, because I wanted to do like a bunch of this as like what we learned from running SOCON in addition to like just talking about history. So I wanted to talk about one thing before we kind of got into that, which is the VR chat world, which is something we started in. Was it 2021 that we first did VR chat? I believe it was.
I think I
I
I
think
think it
so.
definitely wasn't the first
I was
year.
a
It definitely
director
wasn't
by
me.
the time that we did it, and like
Mhm.
huge thank you to our VR chat team. They are incredibly hard workers. Like the amount of passion put into that is just like I don't know if you all have been in the VR chat world. They once again. I stand by what past Jonaya said in that opening ceremonies that definitely wasn't recorded like 3 days ago. The VR chat world slaps this year. It's really good. And they working under time pressure and just like doing an amazing job in general. Like
It's always scary to me how much they're able to put out every year,
yeah,
and I'm being like, yo, you can
yeah.
take a water break, please.
And like so and one of the things we talked about in terms of like the con like going away and then like other people maybe doing stuff in the future is like what are the VR chat folks, what do they want to do, because like they're a huge like they've been a huge partners with us for a long time, and it's my understanding that they are in talks with the organizers of Prom Stuck to potentially do something related to that. So the VR chat stuff is probably going to continue because yeah, thank you Ender for confirming that. Um, they're all super talented, really dedicated people who really love working on the VR chat stuff, and it would suck to have them just kind of like scattered to the winds. So
Yeah. See, even if SOCCon goes away, there's ways in which
yeah,
Homestucks are able to still
so
survive through just doing things
I
with one
I I
another.
do. There's a question here that Eben posted in the chat, which I do want to
Yeah.
answer, and because it kind of leads into what we're doing next. So the question is, if I were to make my own online convention unrelated to Homestuck, can I copy off your homework and change it a little to make it look like it's mine? So like that's kind of
This is
why
fun.
that's part of why I wanted to do this is to give people some like resources in terms of like what we did and that worked or didn't work for both Homestuck related stuff and for just like other online conventions. Because we've been doing this for a while and like we've had to kind of learn a lot of stuff the hard way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I should remind that even though we've done a lot of unique stuff for SAHCon, recalling that SAHCon is definitely based off a convention that did it first, the
It
Brummies.
is.
We're
Yeah.
basically that middle ground of like, I don't know, we're the Simpsons to the Flintstones, and you would be the Family Guy. There you
Yeah.
go.
That's a horrible analogy. Don't ever say that again. Oh my god.
But it makes sense, right? Kind of like when I said that
It
I
did make
vanished for six
oh
months and
my
I pulled a
god.
Markiplier from
No, you
Megamind.
did
You
say
got
that
that.
last night.
I can't remember his name. I can't remember the superhero's name. His name is Markiplier.
I can't either. Metro Man. I want to say Metro Man.
Metro Man. Metro Man.
That
Okay, well,
sounds
I'm still
right.
gonna call him Markiplier because it's
He
funny. So
does look kind of like Markiplier. You're not wrong about that.
I've never been.
So, I kind of wanted to transition here into what we've learned from the con. And I have a few things that I wanted to talk about, and then I guess I'll let Crow kind of spin off of that. And the first thing I have on my list is one of the things that I think is like one of the biggest challenges for doing a con, which is like guest outreach. Because we've had a lot of different people on the con over the years, and that we've had a kind of mix of like people that we ask to be on the con and people that we like open applications for. And like open applications is simple. You set up an application, you have people submit to the con as far as like, hey, I want to do a panel, and they tell you their idea and give you their information, and then you decide whether or not that's something that you want to go with. And then people you reach out to is usually like, okay, this person is like interesting in the fandom, or they do something cool and we want to have them on to talk about their thing or to talk about something related to their thing. And like, I think that's the part that's going to be more intimidating to people in terms of like finding guests. So like, I guess I think both of us can kind of speak to our experiences with that. I'll since I'm already talking, I'll kind of go first. For me, a lot of it is just like, for a fandom like Homestuck, which is not a huge fandom, a lot of times you can just kind of go for it. Just like reach out to somebody and send them a DM or an email and just be like, hey, we're doing this thing. Would you be interested in participating? Because like, I found that a lot of times when you do that, people are like, hell yeah, I'd love to do that, because like it's fun to go and talk about your thing. A lot of times like people see like somebody who's like a BNF or whatever as being like inaccessible, but like a lot of times they're not they're just like they're not like a person that's way off. They're not like some fucking big time Hollywood actor that makes millions of dollars. It's like there's someone who's like popular in the Homestuck fandom, and it's like
They're probably working at a 9 to 5
they
or 8
are
to 5.
100% working at a 9 to 5, and like
Yeah.
it's something where
Also,
it's like,
Janaya, you might wanna clarify what a BNF is.
a BN. Oh yeah, I guess that's not a common acronym anymore, is it?
Yeah.
It's a big name
no.
fan. It's just someone who's like well known in the fandom, for whatever reason. And like it's a lot of times like, you're a big fish in the Homestuck pond or whatever, but like in real life you're just working at a regular ass job, and it's cool to be able to go and like talk about something that you're passionate about. So we've gotten a bunch of our big guests, like for example, like Casey Mangio and Kira Buckland, both very well known voice actors, but also like Homestuck fans, and they have been willing to do a couple of panels where it's just like, yeah, just come and talk about voice acting stuff for a little bit. And if they got the time for it and it sounds interesting, like more often than not, people will just be like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool. Especially with an online con where you don't have to travel, and like it's very low investment. Like it's like you just get on a webcam for an hour, or get on a stream for an hour.
Basically, you are basically attending an online Microsoft Teams class for just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that. So yeah, that's my thought on it, is like really it just comes down to like, just ask people, and then as you become like established in your space and people start to know who you are, like you'll start to build up a reputation where it's like, oh, this is a panel where so and so went, or like this is the con that these people run and they're cool, so like people will be more willing to participate if you have a decent reputation, where it's like, oh, they're not going to be assholes to me. I don't know, Crow, what are your thoughts on like guest outreach and getting people on and all that good stuff?
Well, first things first, I want to clarify this. While it does help reach, while it does help get people buzzing about the con, I want to clarify that having guests at a convention is optional. It's not required. and it does help. But
Yes.
just because you have guests or just because you want to run a convention does not mean that you have to have guests as a end it or like a be it or end it, because uh, first things first, you want to make sure that people are there just to have a good time. And then if you're
Mhm.
able to have guests, go for it. And you want to make sure too, with that in mind, that if you make it where guests are the option, but they are not mandatory, you remain humble about how many guests you do get. I see
Yeah.
people all the time who are like, we got to get this person, got to get that person. And like, I remember SAHCon used to have like, oh, we used to have like so many guests. Like, I think maybe like even like 10 people sometimes. Da, da, da. And now
Yeah.
it's like some places even in physical convention spaces might have like five or even three guests at most, and that's completely fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the numbers. And but when you do have those guests and when you are trying to make sure that it kind of interconnects with like everything else regarding showcasing the convention to the community, or just interacting with those guests. First things first, I think one of the things that we did, and also this is another thing, if the more guests that you have, the more particular responsibilities you have to balance in terms of everything that works around that guest's like time and stuff. Because like
Yeah.
guests are gonna the way that we did it, guests have priority over what schedule times they want to choose, and also we used to do it, I believe, where because we had so many guests, we would try to make sure that we would base SawCon's date off
Yeah.
of making sure the majority
We
of those guests were able to make that day or
Yeah,
week.
we did try to in the past, like especially when we'd have guests like Casey and Kira, where they're like doing regular cons to try to schedule it where it wasn't on the
Yes.
same weekend as like a major like LA Comic Con or
Yeah. Oh
something
yeah,
like
and for them
that.
we had to ask them like way in advance because they
Yeah.
were already being asked by like bigger people.
Right. And like yeah, just in general, like and then even outside of just like guests, I think like in terms of like how we balance out panelists too, because like we always ask panelists like what their preferred times are for scheduling, and then like when we're doing the application and the scheduling, like we're trying to get like a mixture of panel ideas that are all going to sound interesting and not overlap too much thematically, and then
Yes.
also like schedule wise to make sure that we sort of fill things out in a way that's like not you don't have like five panels at once and then a big dead spot. um
Yeah, that's also a reason why it's like we've had occasional overlaps, but
yeah.
we definitely tried it where we tried to not have like we would try to not have our guests too overlapped on each other, but then you would also have to make sure that if you're not overlapping guests on each other,
Yeah.
that you don't have a regular fan panel that has a very similar topic to that
Yeah,
guest, so no one gets overshadowed,
yeah,
stuff like that.
that's definitely something to consider. Like if you're doing something and you end up with like a big, if you get like a guest who's very big in that fandom space, or you think it's going to be very popular, like you have to kind of be very careful about what you're doing at the same time. Like I when I do scheduling to try to, okay, that's an interesting transphobic comment here. In,
We love to see it.
it's in the YouTube. I just hit it. Um,
Right.
cool, man. Anyway, so like one of the things that I would try to do when doing scheduling is like you have if you have a very popular panel, like say when we had like the Act 3 panel, we didn't schedule anything at the same time because like that most of the people in the fandom are gonna want to go and watch that. So like it would be a really kind of shitty thing to do to have like somebody's like first time panel going up against the Act 3 panel or whatever. Like similarly, if you get a real popular guest, like someone from the fandom who's really well known, we try to like give them their space, and then like if we have overlap, maybe make it at like the tail end of the panel, so you get the people that sort of trail off toward the end, or just like try to keep them clear of other people that are, yeah, especially newer panelists who might not have an established audience. And then the other thing that I try to do with panel scheduling is like to keep panels that are back to like next to each other in time slots not be the same like topic, so that you try to think about like who's the audience for this one or that one, and like maybe have it so that um if you have panels that are going to have very different audiences, maybe put those back to back so they're not basically cannibalizing each other's attention.
Yeah.
So like if you had like a fucking, I don't know, like you had a panel on like music composition and you have a panel on like voice acting, like those have a lot of overlap. You maybe don't put those back to back, but if you have like a panel on voice acting and you have a panel on like building a fan troll, like those are very different subjects, and people can kind
Yeah.
of pick like, oh,
I
I'd rather watch this one or
I
this
am
one.
remembering one year, like maybe 2 years back at like a MomoCon, which is a in-person convention. It's like what last like, 2 years ago, they had a lot of guests. Like they had a
Yeah,
lot of guests. I think Glitch Production was there. Dana Terrace, who like makes like
yeah,
the Owl House and Nights. Like a lot of people that were big name were at that con that year, and it was good. The problem was that I was very angry at their schedule because yeah, I had like a friend who is known in the YouTube space, Jake Neutron, for example,
right.
who like does like indie stuff, da 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 da. And tell me why he, who's known for doing like a lot of stuff related to like Digital Circus, da da da. Tell me why he, who is also a guest or was a guest, was put during the same time frame as the Glitch production panel and
Yeah,
at another point the Owl House Q&A, in which he's in both
yeah,
of those fandoms and known for. It was such a split as someone who was trying to attend both of them to figure out which one to go
yeah,
for because they were such similar topics. I know that he also wanted to go to those himself just as a non-guest. So it's like
yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that you gotta watch for
yeah,
when it comes to scheduling, like not even just guest to guest, but the topic to topic. Like you don't want
yeah.
to have it
Agreed.
where for Homestuck you have like a, I don't know, a character design panel right next to tutorial on how to
Yeah,
a tutorial on how to like I don't know what's something similar. A
like
character
a
design
cosplay
panel versus
tutorial or something
a
like that.
yeah,
Like,
something I don't know. You know what I mean by
yeah,
this. I don't
there's
really.
like overlap in terms of like areas of interest, I guess, is what I was trying to say before, where it's like,
Yes.
you have things where it's like you kind of want to make a distinction where it's like if somebody is going to the con and it's like, you've got a hypothetical platonic ideal of an audience member who wants to like is really invested in like um learning how to do like uh how to build create things. So they want to go to the panels that are about like cosplay or like makeup tutorials or character design, that kind of stuff. Like if you put all those on like a separate, like they're set up so that you could theoretically watch all of them, and then if you have conflicts, you have like, say, I don't know, like a musical or something like that, or a panel on like fan music where you have like a kind of a different area of interest, so that somebody who's really like interested in a specific topic can kind of get the full range of it, and then people that mix and match, like they're gonna do that anyway, and it's hard to predict like somebody who's just kind of picking at random like what they're gonna choose, because it's kind of personal. But I like to set it up so that theoretically a person that's really interested in a specific topic can kind of get all of the panels on that topic, um,
Yeah. And
over the course of the
like
con.
granted, as we always say every year, the panels will be archived. And
Yes, the panels
so
will be
you
archived.
will be able to like watch them after the fact, which is always going to be a fact. But at the same time, I do understand that there is a nuance of what the differences are when a audience is actually there
Yeah,
in the moment and what
of
that means
course.
for both the audience's experience of the convention while they're attending it instead of just seeing like
Yeah,
everything after it's already happened,
and
and also how that connects back to the panelists because
of
some
course.
panelists kind of need like audience participation and it's important to be able
Yeah,
to have an
I,
audience there.
I was gonna say, like, there is something to like the back and forth of the audience. Now, obviously, like a pre-recorded panel is different than a live one.
Yeah.
So like, but even with a pre-recorded panel, like there's the community of like talking to the people in the comments or the chat. So like,
Yeah.
there's definitely free Israel. Interesting. You're gonna go bye now. Um, Weird thing to say. Um, Anyway, so yeah, it's like I feel like there's something to allowing people to, you know, kind of be in community with the panelists that like align with their interests, and not forcing them to like pick one, if possible. And then also not having them be just like overwhelmed by somebody who's going to get a majority of the attention because they're big and popular. Um, like I don't know. I once was a panelist who had never done this before and didn't really have much of a reputation in the Homestuck fandom, and I really appreciated that I got like 100 people watching my panel when I was expecting like 10. And I was like, this is really cool. I got to talk about something I cared about and that I felt like I knew something about. And it was just, I don't know. It was a nice thing to have, and I appreciate that I wasn't forced to like compete against, I don't know, fucking like Vast Error or something
To,
like that.
to add on real quick, the panels are all archived in the same place. You just have to go to the website.
Yeah, we asked panelists to provide us with a permanent link to their panel, and then we link it to on the website after the con. We have had panels where they didn't archive it, or it's since gone away, which sucks. But you know, we have a limited ability to do anything about that.
Yeah. Considering the fact that IRL conventions are usually not going to archive any panels unless they're like a big thing or whatever,
Yeah,
it's like with the fact that we might have like a giant library, like let's call it that. The
yeah,
fact that we have a library of Homestuck content and then maybe 5% of it happens to be lost, oh well, it's like obviously I appreciate the people who were able to do it during the time that they did. But in regards to the whole picture of just being able to like look back at things in general, yeah, the archives are going to be on the website where we collect those links to
yeah. If you
make sure that we
go,
have it where if you aren't able to participate, you can at least
so
look from what happened.
if you want to, wow, the website is really lagging right now. If you want to go, if you go to the website, which is sahcon.neocities.com, and then you go to the events and panels, you'll see 2023 panel archive and 2024 panel directory, which should probably be changed to say archive. But those have links to like the archives. There's also past year archives, I think is. Oh, that's the old one. That's from the old website. We also have the old like 2022, 2021. Those are from the old website before we changed over to the NeoCities. So I'm gonna drop that in the. Oh, never mind. Ender got it ahead of me. So that's awesome. Um. So yeah, thank you. Hold on one second. Let me see here. Oh yeah. Uh. And I guess on a somewhat related, but not really related topic, but segueing into the next thing, I really wanted to talk about for what we do, because it's like a huge part of what we do. Is I wanted to talk a little bit about like moderation of the con, and like management of the con, because like that's a big, like, yeah, you get people in to do like guest stuff and be your panelists, and you've got artists. Uh I guess to talk a little bit very quickly about the artist stuff, like that is really like if you put out an application, you're like, hey, do you want to sell your stuff somewhere? Like you'll get people to apply as artists. Like the challenge there becomes like sorting through all of the people and reviewing their portfolios and making sure they're a good fit in terms of like vibe of like, you know, does what they create fit the vibe of the con, you know, experience level, the level of quality of what they're providing, um, and like pricing and all that. Like, there's a lot of stuff to consider about like what is your audience going to be, and like what are you trying to, you know, are you something where you're looking for like people offering like inexpensive like sketches, or are you like making a big thing where you want people offering prints that cost like $200 or something like that. Um, but yeah, that's like a lot of that comes down to like, oh, do not go to the SAHCon.com website. We lost the domain for that. It is a scam casino website now.
What are you talking about? I totally gave it to them and then just thought that NeoCities was bomb.
Yeah, well, yeah, go to it's sahcon.neocities.org as the permanent Don't do that. Don't listen to Anna in the
The
Discord chat.
switcheroo accidentally like probably
Hey,
set
how
some
many
people up, but
switcheroos
yeah,
have you
no. This is a
seen?
good that's kind of a good reason. I mean, this is a very specific reason, but that's kind of a good reason as to why when you're making a convention that also using social media is important,
Yeah.
which is why we have a YouTube, why we have a Twitter, why we have a Blue Sky, why we have a Tumblr still.
You got to diversify your offerings and consider like what are seriously, like, what are we gonna do if we don't do this con anymore and we don't want to pay the money to keep hosting the site. So like, something like NeoCities where it's free is nice. Yeah, the someone in the YouTube chat says so disgusting they took the logo and everything. Yeah, it seemed to be an AI like scraping thing where it just basically like scraped the whole website and turned it into like a weird gambling site. It's very bizarre. Um, we're not
Yeah,
getting
let's
into the
go
gambling
gambling.
business, unfortunately, I guess.
Life is a gamble.
Oh yeah, that's a way to put it. But yeah, I wanted to talk about moderation because like that's definitely I think something that is very challenging for people overall. Um, and so generally speaking, we try to take a very like so SAHCon gets between 1,000 and like 3,000 people in it, depending on the year, and chat moves very quickly, and so like you want to try to minimize, and we only have a few moderators, so like you want to try to minimize the amount of like work that your mods have to do, and you want to cultivate a kind of a vibe of the con that encourages people to be chill and not start shit. And like one of the things we've always done is we've always had a very kind of like neutral ground policy. Like we understand that there's beef in the fandom and like people don't always get along with each other or don't always like each other. And like our general philosophy on that is like if you don't like somebody at the con with you, as long as you can like exist in the same space and not start something with them, we don't care. Like it's not we're not here to like police specific fandom beef or try to like hash out like we're not trying to come up with a matrix of like 3,000 people that can all get along together and all like each other because that's impossible. um so like generally speaking, it's like we have very clear rules about like what behavior is acceptable in the con space. And if you break those rules, then we're gonna pull you out and like talk to you, or if you do something really messed up, we'll just ban you. um
Most figurative but relatable way, if a meat space convention basically tried to run around and try and do whatever like get in between all interpersonal issues that everyone had with each other at a convention, it would steer away a focus on when actual emergencies happen.
Yeah, like it's like you want to keep things like the space is here for everyone in the fandom to gather and enjoy something together, and like kind of like leave your personal beefs at the door. If like if you really don't want to see someone, you can block them. One of the nice things about a virtual con is you can just block them on Discord and you won't see them. Um,
We all came from a we all came from the Tumblr sphere where it was really hard to turn off our ass clocks, but I assure you, it is fine to just
I
put someone on ignore and just go on with your
Yeah,
day.
and like and we try to facilitate that in terms of like our philosophy, and then we also have like if we have specific rules to adhere to those. So it's like, okay, we say you can't do this, we're gonna we actually have a trick in the server. We have a role called the penalty box, which is if someone does something that is not like completely the worst thing ever. Like if someone comes in and starts posting like porn or tries to post porn, we're just gonna ban them. That you instantly go away. But if somebody comes in and like they say something that's like a little fucky, or they're getting into it with somebody and like starting some shit, we'll basically pull them aside where the only channel they can see is this penalty box channel, where it'd be like, hey, um, you know, this behavior isn't acceptable. Can you be chill? And if they're like, yeah, sorry, I'll be normal now, we just toss them back in. And if for example they go into the penalty box and start calling us gay, which somebody did once, we just ban them for that. And it's
Like,
like,
okay, thanks for sharing the facts.
like,
Goodbye.
cool, man. It's like,
Also, penalty
yes,
box
but
just sounds
also
so ominous, but it's
it
really
does.
funny.
like you want to do moderation, and like you want to do like the softest touch possible for moderation, because like with something this big and this fluid, you can't really like always you can't always go into all the nuances of like people's specific beef with each other and their specific ways of getting along with each other. And it's like, it's just not that kind of environment. It's not a community where people are like talking to each other in a very deeply personal way for years at a time. It's an environment where people are coming in and they're like chatting with each other very quickly and sharing like shitposty like phrases and just kind of being goofy, which is fine. That's the environment of like a con hall. Um, but you want that to feel safe and positive. You don't want it to be something where it's like, oh, I feel like I can't be in this space. And you also don't want people to feel like if they come into this space that they're going to be like targeted by us because of their like beef that they have with people. Um, like there are people where it's like, okay, I know that so and so doesn't like you, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna come in and be like, I'm gonna now be an asshole to you. Like, which
You don't
yeah,
want to abuse your authority.
yeah, exactly. Like it's like you are controlling the space. So like you want it to be positive and good, but also you want it to be like open to people. Which yeah, it seems like a real obvious like no shit kind of thing, but also like there are lots of places where it's like people will come into your DMs and be like, "Hey, can you ban this person that I have a very personal thing going on with?" And it's to be like, "Okay, you're asking us to ban someone. Like why? Can you give us some like information about what they've done that's, in violation of our rules?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, it's vibes, man." And it's like, this isn't really the space for that. Like, you
Heaven
ban.
knows that all of us have always been in some watchful eye of someone because of our vibes.
Yeah, it's like I guess it's like I have it in my notes listed as like extra con moderation, where it's like people want you to adjudicate things that happen in other spaces, and it's like it's very hard to do that. Like that's not our job, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry I cannot like magically fix everything, but like it's yeah,
Yeah. And there are
we're
some
responsible for
specific
this
times in
space.
which there are some specific times in which there might be a case where maybe someone's personal thing with someone could be relevant to safety, and maybe that's a
Yeah.
little bit more relevant for like meet spaces where it's like if someone's like this person did a bad thing
Yeah.
and they probably might be a
Well,
little bit of a danger to the other
and
attendees. It's
and
like that's something to
yeah,
consider.
and
But
like and one of the things is like there are times where it can cross over into like you become such a like hostile person that you're not really like welcome in the space. Like for example, if somebody had like a huge issue with like one of us, the directors, and was like harassing us or something like that, it's like, yeah, you're probably going to get banned for that because you're not somebody that we feel comfortable having in a space where we're like the people who have to run it. But also at the same time, like you as a con runner, you do have to kind of have a slightly thick skin about it, where it's like, yeah, I'm sure there's 3,000 people in there. Statistically, probably a bunch of them don't super love me. But that's fine. They don't have to. Like,
I love you.
I know you do. Like it's yeah, it's a lot of it is just like having a light touch. Thank you, Eben. Um, and like we had it was like 2021, I think it was. We had this like that was when the I think that's when the cheese chat became the cheese chat, aka the self-moderating chat. And like one of our mods, Uber, was doing a really they weren't even a mod yet. They were like, she was basically like would redirect conversations that were starting to get like fucky. Um, so it would be like somebody would start like saying something that sounded like it was going to get kind of discoursey, and Uber would come in and be like, "Hey, why don't we talk about this other thing?" And like it would redirect the conversation. So it's like when you're doing like when you're doing something where you have like a very fast moving chat, that kind of redirection works really well because you can kind of like uh just divert the energy, and like nobody's gonna go back in a chat that's moving that fast and like bring up the discourse shit again. Like they have,
Sometimes
yeah.
you have to bring in the magic cheese
You
touch.
gotta bring in the magic cheese touch, man. That's what you gotta do. Like you don't necessarily have to. You don't always have to react to everything in like the hardest way possible. You can just be like, "Hey, we're gonna steer this conversation over here," and then if the person in question keeps going back to it, then it's time to pull them aside and be like, "Hey, you got to stop that." Um,
Yeah,
but
sometimes you might
yeah,
be caught in the moment because it's such a very quick thing to deal with, and some people might be
yeah,
better at planning things steadily that you feel like you don't have enough time. But it's always even if your own mood is a little funky, it's always good to de-escalate and not to add on.
yes. Like and again, it's a big space. A lot of people are here. You're gonna have people from all different walks of the fandom, and you want them to generally be like able to get along at least for the duration of the con, and then like all the specific stuff is like, yeah, it's not your job to litigate those kind of like fandom things. um I guess, hold on, so we're getting kind of close to our to the
Yeah,
end
that's
of,
about time.
we're getting close to time, so I wanted to kind of move along. I think the moderation stuff is like, yeah, don't be a dick, don't let other people be dicks, and what, there was one other thing. Oh yeah, VR chat. VR chat's moderation is terrible. It's really really terrible. Like you if you have a moderated instance, it works okay-ish, but you'll definitely get people asking you to moderate like your VR chat instances and in ways that are just physically impossible. If you do VR chat stuff, people will ask you to be like, "Hey, can you moderate like the public instances of your world?" And it really sucks to have to say no. We can't physically do that, but that is unfortunately the reality.
Definitely, I've definitely seen some comments throughout the years where people don't understand how VR
They
chat works. And so if they have issues with VR chat happenings and they're like, why is
they
SAHCon like this? It's like we literally can't do
they
anything about it. This is like going to the
yeah.
Omegle of online like 3D model
They
fucking
yeah, they
personas.
they conflate they conflate like VR chat SOCON world with like us as a convention. And it's if be aware that if you decide to do like a VR chat thing or anything like adjacent to your event, you're gonna have people that kind of like conflate the two. Like it's very hard to get away from that, and really all you can do is just be like consistent about being like, yeah, we can do these things and we can't do these things, and it's like, what else can you do? um but yeah, there, so a couple things I wanted to talk about before we sort of like wrap this up, was I wanted to talk a little bit about like my thoughts, and I guess Crow chiming in as well, about like, um well, I have them in my outline as do your own thing seriously, no one is stopping you, and fandom as subculture. So kind of like talking a little bit abstractly about like how this sort of thing fits into the world of like the fandom space. Um and like one thing is like, yeah, if you're in a fandom space and you feel like you have an idea for something that would be really cool, like you can do it. Like you can go to people that that you think are good at organizing stuff and like get them on board with it. And like SAHCon didn't just appear out of nowhere with VR chat and all this other stuff. Like it was like asking people one by one and having them agree to be a part of it, and like it snowballs from there. Um so like I think you can always do that. Like it's always something that, it starts small and you can build it up and build it up. And you hit a person who's got like a community within the fandom, and they can kind of bring that community in, and like it's very much about like community building. um which is like, I guess my view personally on like how fandom works or how it should work is like, and this is something I kind of touched on when we were talking about the official licensing, and my thoughts on that. And I personally kind of regret doing the official licensing because uh, I think that a fandom is best understood as like a subculture, as like a community that may be brought together by a work of media, but like it's not just about the fact that you like a thing. It's about like the community of people that you build up around that. So like the people that I met through Homestuck that are my friends are not people that are gonna like, I'm not gonna stop talking to them because I'm not doing Homestuck stuff anymore. Um, I literally met my wife through this fandom, and like I think you better not stop talking to me.
Yeah.
My wife says in chat, sitting
Hi.
4 feet from me. Um, so like I think that that's something that's very easy to get lost in the haze of like, well, I want to make things that people like give me attention for, or like I want to make something that's really impressive or whatever. But like at the end of the day, I think personally that the thing that really needs to be focused on is like you're connecting with other people. Um, like you're making stuff and you're saying like, hey, what do you think about this? And they're talking with you about it, or like you're joining together to share to share your feelings about something, or just talk to people. And I think that that's the thing that SAHCon really like thrived with. And like I think that the idea of like, oh, we've got to like, our goal should be to be like connected to the official media. I personally think, having had experience with it, that that's kind of like a misstep. Um, where I think that the focus should continue to be on the community of people around something, and not on trying to become like officially recognized. Like I think that the separation between like, I think a fandom that has a little bit of separation from its like canon source is actually a good thing, and I have some mixed feelings about the fact that Homestuck doesn't really do that. Um, which I'm not going to get
Yeah.
into because we don't have another hour to do this.
Oh, it's our convention.
But
I'm kidding.
we
It's our
respect
last convention. Whoa.
people's time in this convention.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. I don't know, Crow, tell me your thoughts about this.
I have no thoughts that you haven't already said, really,
Interesting.
to be honest.
Can you
I mean, you mostly explained a lot
tell
of
them
it.
to?
Like, I mean, like I probably said before, I like the separation. I like the fact that there's less pressure, both in a person's head and also from other people about what to do with a fan thing when it stops becoming a fan thing and this like construct that you have to start like restricting the things
Mm-hmm.
that made it what it is, because the concept of, oh, your fan thing that is supposed to include, like, be very inclusive to fan works, it's official now. Start polishing it and keeping certain things, certain people, certain concepts and ideas out. It's
Yeah.
like, that's not why you started this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, um, I don't know. Oh, someone in chat asked, and I want to hit this real quick, is despite everything and taking a step back from SOCON and Homestuck, will we still be part of the fandom or community, even if it's not consistent? My view is basically, the short answer to that is not really. The longer answer is that it's somewhat complicated, because like if one of my friends puts something on, I'll participate in it because they're my friend. Like if Ender does another prom stuck, I'll probably try to go to that. Um, I've really moved on to like other things and doing other stuff. I'm much more in like the TTRPG actual play space right now. But I still, like I said, I have a lot of really good friends who are still doing Homestuck stuff, and I will always be here to support them. Um, so yeah, even though I'm stepped way the fuck back, but I will definitely, I'll go to stuff that my friends make. I can't speak for Crow. I think Crow might have a few more things that he wants to be involved in.
Yeah, so for me, and I'm kind of combining some questions that I've seen in here too. It's like, regarding if I'll be part of the community and the fandom, even if stuff's not consistent. Like, yeah, I have stuff I still need to finish, a couple projects. Maybe if I ever feel like it and it comes up again, there
Yeah.
might be one or two other things that I decide to like contribute or maybe even lead. But for right now, I know that outside of school and stuff and finishing and all that, my focus for Homestuck stuff is gonna take a relatively undetermined back seat because I want to do some original things. Like I have original things I want to create. I've gotten very much into any animation. I've joked about it, but authentically, I have decided to kind of get very invested in the Redemption Demon Hell show, and so it's like that's been a lot of my
Yeah.
focus of recent. Just I've been very much in the cartoon phase as I have been as like someone who is trying to get a degree in animation, and so while Homestuck is something I'm not necessarily gonna ever truly leave, a lot of my focus, especially as someone who's been running fan projects since 2018,
Which is crazy.
um, yeah, I just want to I want to branch out, and if I'm not always branching out or even descaling how much I'm doing for a project, taking a break where it doesn't feel like me sitting down to play a video game feels
Yeah.
like I'm wasting time not doing something Homestuck related. And I have not touched a video game in a while because of that in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Regarding oh God, a SAHCon reunion down the road,
Hmm.
that is something where if
Probably.
I did that, that would be something where I'm like, oh, when I have my cane, I'm gonna like walk up, look at this Discord server. In which case, to also two birds, one stone this. We'll see what we'll do about the Discord after the convention is over. It's not going to delete itself as soon
No,
as midnight hits.
we're gonna keep it archival, so like everything is gonna still be there. We might. I've kind of thought about possibly like unprivating some of the archive channels just so people can see like the chats from previous years. Um,
Yeah.
but we
I mean, we'll
haven't made
definitely
a firm
probably use it
decision
at
yet.
least a couple times for like probably adding everyone for anything that's relevant. Like
Yeah,
maybe if we wanted to, add everyone to know things about prom stuck,
yeah,
or if
yeah.
one of us
Exactly.
have something that's like major. Like if I ever do like a online convention for a completely other fandom and I want people to know that I'm
I'm
doing it there,
I'm
something I'd
gonna
probably like use it for that.
I'm gonna at everyone and tell them to listen to our Avatar Legends TTRPG actual play podcast.
There we go.
Anna's gonna comment.
Um,
Anna's gonna say something. She's our DM.
yeah. Yeah,
But
just
I'm gonna wait
it
till
works
midnight.
out, but yeah, just maybe not a I can't speak for what future Crow's stupid brain is gonna do,
oh my
but if there
god.
was ever a Homestuck community thing that I ever decided to try again, we'll have to see. It's not something I really want to focus on for this year or the next, but the
Yeah.
archiving of this server will definitely help with that. And of course,
Yeah.
like I said, after things, you guys will be able to know my social medias and like keep up with things.
Yeah. I'm
But yeah,
I'm I'm basically out of the Homestuck fandom as a general concept. For a number of reasons, which I do not have time to get into. But generally speaking, like, uh, I burn all the goodwill by extending this panel for several hours and turning the entire server into a mob retract. We've been
yeah,
banking all of this fandom goodwill. We gotta spend it eventually.
yeah.
um,
Cast in the flames.
on yeah, generally speaking, try not to do that when you're doing a thing. Yeah, so we're almost out of time. I genuinely do not want to keep people. We're got another panel coming up in imminently. I don't know which one it is. Um, yeah, I'll look at it in a second, but hold on here.
This is your
That's all right.
reminder to drink water,
Please
do a
drink water.
stretch, and
Next
aim
up
for the toilet.
is.
Let's talk about tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we're doing a panel on Damara Megiddo, that's interesting because we don't get a lot of character specific panels, and that's a particularly interesting character to pick. So yeah,
Yeah,
check out the next panel. Generally
check it out.
speaking,
If you don't attend it, you're mid.
yeah, exactly. Before we go, I want to thank people. I'm sure Crow wants to thank people. Originally, I was gonna thank Crow specifically because I didn't know that Crow would be doing this panel with me. But I still want to thank Crow because Crow did start this, and also Crow like gave me a chance to do stuff with him, and yeah, we've become pretty good friends over the last 5 years and have done a lot of stuff together. But when I first started doing SAHCon stuff, I didn't have much of a reputation in the fandom. So yeah, I really appreciate that, Crow. That means a lot to me.
Oh yeah. Of
Um,
course. I've appreciated working with you
fuck
as
yeah.
someone who's been able to help pick up my slack and also just been able to run because again, I don't think that this convention would be happening this year if it weren't
Yeah.
for you. And also just for the fact that we're friends in general, we're able to just connect and continue to connect even after SawCon
Yeah.
closes its doors.
Exactly. And also like I want to thank the people that have worked on this con over all the years. There are way too many people to name right now, but like just generally speaking, like the mods, the panelists, the VR chat developers, the VR chat mods, like all of our guests and all of our attendees, because like everyone's taking time out of their schedules to do something that connects us together and gives us a place to hang out and do some really cool stuff. Um, So yeah, I really appreciate that. Crow, you have any final words? Because I don't want to overlap our other panel too much. That after talking about how shitty it
Not
is to do
really. This
that.
is like almost like a pre-closing ceremony almost.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny.
exactly. The closing ceremonies are going to be
Yeah.
weird because I pre-recorded one and then Crow might do something after.
Yeah.
Because
I
yeah.
might do something, I might not. I'm actually pretty satisfied with what I did today in this panel,
Okay,
so.
fair enough. Then you get to see me and Rose Muppet talk for a little bit. Um,
Yeah. I guess I don't have much to say. I'll plug. Make sure you're still following the HS Reanimated Twitter because we're still doing the Cascade Reanimated. I feel like that's relevant to say today. So,
yes. Yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna plug our podcast. Anna, can you drop the link to it in the thing? Actually, never mind. I've got it. Here, go listen to our Avatar Legends actual play. It's really cool and great, and I can post links because I'm a mod. Um,
I
so
would, but I'm lazy. I have my paws on my
that's
pizza.
fair. So yeah, thank you all for coming. This was a little weird and different and freeform. I hope you got something out of it. Yeah, I know like people are gonna make cool stuff in this fandom forever, and yeah, I would encourage you to do that. And you don't need anyone's permission to make fan stuff. So go do that and have fun with it. Crow, do you have any
Heck
last
yeah.
words?
That was my last word.
Excellent. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Go check out the rest of the panels, buy some stuff from our artists, do whatever you want forever, and bye.
Bye.